She was buried alive and still waits for him. A gothic love story soaked in sorrow, betrayal, and spectral revenge. In the remote village of Linden Hollow, surrounded by ancient woods and a fog that never lifts, there lives a legend. Whispers pass from lips to trembling ears, especially when the wind howls through the forest at night. It is the story of Alara Vale. They say she was loved. They say she died. They say she was buried alive, and that she never left. Alara lived on the edge of the forest, where light was always dim and shadows came early. Her beauty was quiet, almost eerie, skin pale like candle wax, hair long and black as raven feathers. She was known as a healer. The villagers came to her with fevers, wounds, and bad dreams. Her shelves were lined with herbs and bones, her windows covered in dried flowers to ward off the dark. But beneath her otherworldly calm was a heart that burned with love. She had fallen for Tristan Moreau, the son of a noble family, a soldier in training. They met in secret, behind chapel ruins and beneath ancient oaks. His hands, rough with sword calluses, fit perfectly against her delicate fingers. They whispered promises, planned an escape. He told her he would marry her, regardless of what his family thought. But their happiness did not go unnoticed. Lady Adelaine, daughter of a neighboring lord and Tristan's betrothed by arrangement, discovered the affair. Her pride cut deeper than any blade. She watched them in secret once, Alara and Tristan wrapped in an embrace beneath the old tree, and in that moment, her hatred took root. Whispers became weapons. Alara was accused of witchcraft, of seducing a nobleman with charms and curses. She was too beautiful, they said, too strange, too clever. She was tried not by reason, but by fear. Tristan fought to save her. He spoke in her defense. He pleaded. But the crowd wanted a monster, and they made her one. The priest, pressed by noble hands, chose mercy, poison instead of fire. They handed her a silver goblet. The wine within was laced with belladonna. She drank it, her heart slowing to a crawl, her breath becoming so faint, even the midwife swore she was dead. She was not. When they buried her in the forest, deep beneath the trees with no stone, no name, and no prayer, her soul had not left her body. Hours passed, then darkness gave way to panic. She woke beneath the earth, and she screamed. No one heard her, except the trees. Tristan never believed she had truly died. He returned to the grave, night after night, digging, hoping, but all he found were tangled roots and damp soil. The villagers said he had gone mad. He stopped eating, speaking, until one day, he too vanished. Some said he drowned himself in the bog. Others whispered he went into the woods to find her. Decades passed. The legend grew fangs. They say a woman in white roams the forest now. Her feet never touch the ground. Her eyes are empty pits. Her skin is gray with rot. Her hair carries bits of soil and moss. She whispers names into the wind. Lovers who stray too far into the trees disappear. Forever and always, she waits. They say her name once, and never again. Many years later, a historian named Eleanor came to Linden Hollow, a scholar of folklore and forgotten women. She had heard the tales, and though she didn't believe in ghosts, something about Alara's story pulled at her. She took up residence near the edge of the forest. She visited the crumbling library. She read trial transcripts, faded love letters, and a diary left by one of Alara's childhood friends. The more she read, the more she dreamed. In her sleep, she heard a man's voice whisper, "Alara," and another voice, hoarse, buried, screaming beneath layers of dirt. She began to see things. A woman in white watching from the trees, a figure standing at the edge of her bed. Still, Eleanor pressed deeper, until one night she followed the cries. Lantern in hand, she walked into the woods. The fog wrapped around her like a shroud. Time lost all meaning. Her breath steamed in the unnatural cold. And then, she saw her. Alara, not quite dead, not quite living. She stood in her burial dress, eyes sunken but still glimmering with something, longing, pain, hatred. Alara did not speak, not at first. Then, softly, she said, "He promised he'd come," and she vanished into the mist. Eleanor returned to the village, but she did not leave. She stayed in the cottage near the woods. She rarely spoke. She watched the trees as if waiting for something, or someone. And sometimes, in the very early hours of morning, villagers see her wandering the edge of the forest, whispering, listening. They say she's not alone anymore, because something else returned. On the anniversary of Alara's burial, the wind carried music, soft, mournful, a violin playing a love song no one could name. From the forest, a procession appeared. Pale figures, faces frozen in time, a groom in a red soldier's coat, a bride in a decayed gown of lace, Tristan and Alara. They walked hand in hand through the forest, toward the ruined chapel, followed by their ghostly guests. The air shimmered with cold. No birds sang. Time itself seemed to pause. Inside the chapel, they stood before a crumbled altar. And then, as if the veil between life and death thinned for just a moment, they were gone. All that remained were two fresh gravestones beneath the oaks, side by side. One reads, Alara Vale. She waited. The other, Tristan Moreau. He returned. But some say she still lingers, that true love like that does not die,